The government said it would raise £500 million a year from treating overseas visitors on the NHS, but it's falling well short. So the pressure is on to get hospitals to do more checks to allow NHS bosses to claim back from foreign governments. A plan to get all patients to produce identification for non-urgent hospital care is being considered. One trust, Peterborough and Stanford, has its own policy requiring two forms of ID. Anyone coming here for routine surgery needs to show proof of nationality, for example with a passport or birth certificate, and where they live, for example with a utility bill. The system's been in place here for 3 years. Local people have mixed views.
I think anything that speeds up the process, anything that makes life simpler, weeding out any time wasters or people who shouldn't be here anyway, I think is fair comment.
I've been here for how long now and you're asking me for ID?
Were you happy with that?
Not really, but I do understand the point as well.
The policy here in Peterborough could now be extended to other hospitals which will need to do more rigorous checks. Under the current system, patients register with a GP and need to produce proof of address like a utility bill. Then they get an NHS number and that qualifies them for routine treatment. No further proof of ID is needed. It's a system which needs to be tightened up a lot, according to campaigners on the issue.
Health tourists can just walk into the Nat Health Service with and get free treatment. We must have some sort of restriction to free access to NHS care.
But others argue the NHS has got much bigger problems to deal with, and the proposed new ID policy is bureaucratic and heavy-handed.
When you get to the point of saying, in order to get through the door into this outpatient clinic, wherever you are, all over the country, you're going to have to show a passport and utility bill just to sit and talk to a doctor about the problems with your knee, I think people will say themselves that it's a disproportionate thing, and I would agree with them.
Labour argues that hospital staff shouldn't be border guards and says it'll oppose the idea. The ID policy may be established at this hospital, but winning support for extending it across the NHS could prove a lot more difficult.